healthcare interview questions on safeguarding. So whenever you go for healthcare interview, you must be asked questions relating to safeguarding. You will never miss it. All right. So there are different ways questions about safeguarding can be asked. So I was able to draft out about 5 different possible ways they could ask you questions regarding safeguarding. So number one I have here is direct question, like direct definition of what safeguarding is all about. So they can ask you a direct question like, what does safeguarding means to you, or what do you understand by safeguarding? Okay, to answer this, you just have to tell them that safeguarding is all about protecting the vulnerable people you look after, the vulnerable people, from all forms of abuse, harm, and neglect. It is all about protecting the vulnerable people from anything that can cause them harm, anything that can cause them pain, anything that can make their life difficult, protecting them from all sort of that. So it is also beautiful to go further to tell them that you understand your duties with regards to safeguarding. So you can tell them something like, as a healthcare assistant, you understand that you have the duty of care to protect the resident from anything like abuse. Whenever you see any signs of abuse, that you have to follow it up, document it, report it. It is your duty. It is your duty to make sure that the environment they are staying is very conducive, well, clean, protected from anything, maybe water on the floor that can make slip and fall, make sure that they are properly dressed so they are not exposed to cold, or they are not exposed to hot weather. Everything you have to do to protect this resident or this patient, everything you can think of. It goes down to the food they eat, making sure it's not very hot, that when they eat it, it will hurt their mouth. It goes down to making sure the drink they are taking is not very cold or very hot. Everything. Safeguarding is like an umbrella that encompasses a lot of things, like the things I'm mentioning now. So you can go further to tell them all those things that your duties regarding safeguarding. You can also tell them the things like abuse, things you should do and things you should not do, otherwise you have abused them, like taking their money, shouting at them, hitting them, calling them names. Okay, all these things are abuse if you do it. So you can go forward to tell them that, or you can just tell them it is a direct definition, right? So you can just tell them definition that safeguarding is all about protecting the vulnerable people from all sort of abuse, harm, and neglect. You are still okay, but I would advise you to say something further, at least to convince them that you understand exactly what that concept is all about. So this is for direct definition questions. Number two, I have scenario-based question. This is where they paint scenario, like they ask you question like, what would you do if you notice or you suspect that a resident is being abused? What would you do? So they are asking to see what your reaction would be, how you would handle that situation if you encounter it, if you suspect it. What would you do? Of course, in a situation like that, if you suspect, how do you suspect? Maybe you saw bruises. They can even ask you, what would you do when you notice unexplained bruises on the body of a resident? It is still abuse. Unexplained bruises is like, this person never had a fall, it was not documented. All of a sudden, you start seeing bruises all over the body. Something could be wrong. So they can also ask you, what would you do if a resident complained to you or confided in you that a particular staff is abusing them? Do you understand the questions? What would you do if you notice or you suspect that a resident is being abused? That is number one. What would you do if a resident confided in you or complained to you that a particular staff is abusing them or mistreating them? All right, so all these things, they are the same question. They just want to know what you would do, how you would react to that situation, how you would handle it. So, in this type of scenario based question, you have to tell them that if you notice or a resident have complained to you, first of all, let me go with when a resident complained to you. What you do is that you first of all encourage that resident that you will listen to them, encourage them, tell them that they have done very well by speaking up, reassure them that they don't need to be scared. Okay? Telling them that you will have to inform the management about this. Not promising them that you will do investigation by yourself, but assuring them that they have done well by speaking up and that you will communicate to the management about this and that the management will do something and that he or she is safe. And after that, you must have to record everything that this resident have said to you or the patient have said to you. And after that, you will have to report it following the company policy. So it is important to mention that you would follow the company policy while reporting an abuse, because every company have got their policy. So when a resident complained of abuse to you, just encourage the resident that, oh, you have done very well by speaking up. Okay, I'm going to communicate this with the management. They will do something about it. You have done so well. You don't have to be scared. We are here to care for you. It's not going to happen again. We would make sure that you are safe. Just reassure them that they have done well and that their safety is guaranteed. In what way do you follow up? Such question could come. How you follow up is that you always, ask the management, how is it going? Any feedback? If they need any feedback from you, you always go to the resident to not to repeat what has been said, but to, keep company. You know what I mean? Not going back to say, oh, that thing you told me, we are carrying out investigation. Keep reminding them, no. But a kind of following up, go, oh, are you okay? Are you all right today? Do you want anything? If you want anything, I'm here. That type of thing. Following up, making sure that that resident is safe and confident and they are very, very comfortable. Okay? So that is for scenario-based question. So remember what I said, report it, document it, reassure the resident that they have done something good by speaking up. All right? So you listen to them, and remember, when you are listening to them, you don't show them that sign that, oh, what do you mean? Are you sure this person can do this? So showing them that you are, oh, I'm shocked this person could do this. Or, are you sure? Are you telling me that you like being judgmental? You should never be like that. Okay? So, another question number 3 is policy and the responsibility questions. So they can ask you questions like, who is responsible for safeguarding in the care home? Who is responsible? Now they want to find out from you who you think is responsible to make sure that the residents are safe. It is everybody. Safeguarding is everybody's responsibility, including the manager, the carers, the chef, the domestics, the maintenance. Everybody working in that home is responsible for the resident's safety. So everyone is responsible for safeguarding. You see it, you report it. You see it, you raise concern. You see it, you document it. You see it, you follow the policy and make sure that it gets to the right person, which is the manager or the safeguarding lead person. It depends on the home. So another sample question I have here is, who would you report safeguarding concerns to? So they want to know if you understand what safeguarding policy is and who you would report it to. So while answering this question, it is beautiful to tell them that you must report it to the right authority following the company policy. So when you join the company, you will learn the company policy. So it will help you to know the channel, the line of report, who to report it to, how to go about it. So That is how to answer it. You will follow the company policy. Who would you report to? You will follow the company policy on safeguarding to report it to the right authority. So the next question I have here is knowledge-based question. This is a place where they could ask you, what type of abuse are you aware of? Or what types of abuse should a carer be aware of? So they are trying to find out from you if you have the knowledge of different types of abuse, because you can only identify signs of abuse when you know the type of abuse that is existing. Now, we have different types of abuse. We have physical abuse, we have emotional abuse, we have financial abuse, we have neglect, we have discrimination, so many of them. So carers should know about, say, physical abuse. This is a situation whereby you hit a resident, you beat them, you spank them, you inflict physical injuries on them. It is an abuse that must not be done. We've got emotional abuse, calling them names, trying to compare them with another person, comparing them. Oh, you cannot go to the toilet, you are wetting yourself. Are you not seeing Mrs. This, Mr. That? They are able to do it, you can't do it. You are a disgrace, you are making my life miserable. You are this and calling them names, telling them a lot of things that you shouldn't say, knowing fully well they are vulnerable, you are there to help. Such things can reduce their self-esteem the more, because the more you say those bad words to them, the more they try to see themselves as nothing, and after some time you start seeing them withdrawing. So you must not do that. We've got financial abuse, taking their money, stealing from them, using their credit card to do shopping and all that. That should never happen. We'll have neglect, a situation whereby you don't care. Yes, you offered food in the morning and they declined, and you never went back. You offered drink, they declined, you never went back. You offered personal care, they declined. Yes, they declined, they have the right. You never went back. You just leave them to your tent, oh Israel, it doesn't concern you. That is neglect. Okay? So if a resident is declining care, you must keep approaching, prompting, encouraging, and documenting, otherwise it is neglect. Okay, so there are different forms of abuse. If you want to read more, you can read more. I've just succeeded in telling us about physical abuse, emotional, financial, neglect. We've got discrimination. You treat this person different from the other person. Maybe because you as a carer is of the same race with this person and you are treating the other person differently. It is not right. Okay, so another question I have here, same knowledge-based question, is what legislation guide safeguarding in the UK? I think I was asked this question during one time I went for an interview. So two legislations that provide guidance to this is a Mental Capacity Act and Care Act 2014. So Care Act 2014 and Mental Capacity Act 2005, they are the key piece of legislation. They are these two legislation provide guidance, all right, on protecting the vulnerable ones. So the two make sure that whatever decision you take is in their best interest, making sure that you treat them right as a human being and not, because of what they are suffering from. So the last one I have here is value-based question. This is a place where they ask you questions like dignity, privacy, respect, and all that. So they can ask you, how do you promote dignity and how do you promote dignity and respect of the resident, or how do you protect it, or how do you maintain it? It is still the same. So they want to know if you understand what dignity is all about, how you would respect it, how you are able to demonstrate how you would respect it. So it is very easy, it's always making sure that you let the resident be themselves, get them involved in what you are about to do for them, seeking for their consent, informing them what you want to do, letting them make decisions, giving them options, and letting them, for example, breakfast, you bring cornflakes, You bring Weetabix, you tell, oh, I have cornflakes, I have Weetabix, which do you want to go for? They will make decision instead of coming from the kitchen with cornflakes direct to serve them cornflakes. You get what I mean? So giving them option to make choices, you are promoting their dignity, you are respecting them. During personal care, making sure that the windows are closed, the curtains are closed, the blinds are closed, the doors are closed, so that you protect their nakedness. It is still what we are saying. So yeah, that is what that question is all about. Now, the last one here, under that value-based question, I categorize it there. Is another sample question, like scenario-based question. Tell us about a time you raised a concern about the safety of a resident. So this time, any question that has to do with behavioral related question, it is best to answer it with STAR method. Like, tell us about a time you raised a concern about a resident's safety. So to answer this question, use STAR method. So I will start by saying that in my previous care home, that I have got a resident who maybe was not joining in activities. Okay, this resident is always withdrawing. He's always withdrawing from other residents. He doesn't want to join, and that withdrawal is not nice. It could be that something is going on. Yeah. So when I approached that resident, I spoke to that resident. I tried to find out why they don't like to join activity. It took quite some time, but after the resident opened up just to say that she don't enjoy what they are doing, that she's got a particular type of activity she likes. So she was able to describe it, and I communicated with the activity coordinator, also informed my manager, and the type of activity she likes was included in the activity the residents are doing, and that was how she started joining the activity. So you just have to tell them, the question say a time you raised a concern, saying that other residents are going for activity and this person is withdrawing, they are not joining, is a concern. Saying that a resident is not eating while others are eating, or even when others are finished, is a concern. Saying that a resident is not taking their medication is a concern. Saying that a resident is not opening their bowel, they are constipated, is a concern. So when they say concern, do not be concern is when something that should be happening is not happening. It is a concern. So you can tell them any story. Like I said, somebody who is not joining activity. It could also be someone who is not eating when others are eating. They don't eat their food. You approach them to find out. It happens that they don't like the meal. You communicate with the chef, and the meal they like was inculcated. It was added, and they started eating. It could be anything. It could be this resident is always refusing personal care. You try to find out, you went closer, only to find out that they prefer to have their shower in the night. And the carers will offer during morning and afternoon time, they will decline. In the night, they don't come to offer. So he will still go to bed. But if anybody had gone in the night, he would accept. When you find out that secret, people started approaching in the night and he started having his shower. So a concern is anything that should be happening but is not happening. Okay? Or something that should not be happening and is happening, whichever way. So questions on safeguarding could be asked in different formats, and I hope these few sample questions will help you